feel like I can break that into two answers. See, this was always my dream school. I mean, I decided, this is what I wanted to do from a young age. I grew up watching Razorback sports, born and raised in the state of Arkansas. So it was a bit of a no-brainer. I did have some doubts coming into my senior year because I was starting to get looked at by smaller colleges to play football, and that was also a dream of mine, was to play football after high school. So it's like, give up one, give up the other. And what really like drove my decision to come here was sometime early January. I can't remember the lady's name, but to make a long story short, she came and presented me a scholarship in person, and I just thought to myself that's a sign. Because one of the main things I wanted was just like a day for myself. And I always see these college athletes having their own signing day. Even one of my buddies, he had a signing day to go shoot trap at a small college in Missouri. And I was really thinking, I'm kind of leaning towards playing football and having my own signing day and a big ceremony and all this and that. But then they came, and that was a complete surprise to me. Like, everybody was in on it, nobody knew. It's just that's what really made me come here. I'd say to start out, I'd say the community. The hospitality, it's unmatched, from any other group I've been a part of. I mean, it's a great community. Everybody's friends. It's all just one unit. We all come together as one, and that's one thing I really like. This isn't, I guess you could say, as big of a deal for some people, but I really like just getting to stay in HOTS, like having to be tied to HOTS. I mean, because I remember when I was starting my housing contract, I was trying to figure out where I wanted to stay, and all the people I asked were like, HOTS is the best, HOTS is the best. And I mean, to get to stay in the dorm that I wanted, it's pretty nice. And I like just the overall support system, with Sochi and Michelle, all the older past scholars from cohorts prior, especially the mentors that are here on campus now. I feel like that's what makes Path so special. Getting to memorize where stuff is, I feel like that's a good advantage to getting to stay on campus early. It also gives me a chance to break bad habits, like I was saying, how, I'm not waking up and going to sleep when I should. It helps me break those habits because I'll have even more of a head start before classes start. I feel like the most interesting, it's one that a lot of people don't know about me, is that I'm actually autistic. I say I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome when I was 5. Was I even 5 yet? Yeah. I remember it was when I was in pre-K. One of my teachers noticed how, I don't want to say how far above I was, but I mean, from my parents' recollection, that's basically how they put it. And the main thing that stood out to her was like how good my reading comprehension, how good my memory was for a child my age at the time. And she told my parents to get me checked, and that turned out I have autism. So that's one thing a lot of people don't know about me. Another thing is, like, a lot of people get like this preconceived notion of me that I'm just some I'm just some big scary guy. It's just, don't really have much to offer. But I like to think that I'm a very, compassionate individual. Like, this is what we were talking about today in our lecture this morning. Like what makes us us. And part of it was what 3 adjectives would we use to describe ourselves, and I chose passionate, emotional, because I'll be honest, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I get that from my mother. And the third one was whimsical, because I can get very silly at times. About the same time as my initial choice to come to the U of A, I mean, it's just growing up watching football. I mean, my parents, even though they didn't really know much about, the teams and the players, they loved watching football. My papa, he loved watching football. So, I mean, when I got to first grade, I told my dad, I said to him, I want to try out for the football team, the Pee Wee football team. And he was all for it, which was actually unprecedented because usually you're not supposed to you're not supposed to play until you get into the third grade. But since I was very tall, I was bigger and taller for my age at that point. So the coach just threw me in there, and I started playing football in first grade and didn't stop playing since. I love music. I love listening and playing music. I can somewhat play guitar. I'm not exactly at the level I'd like to be at, but now that I have, I guess you could say more time to myself. Spend a lot of my later evenings just sitting in my room, just spinning around in my chair playing guitar. So, I've been playing about 2.5 years. I'd already started my application before they'd opened up, and I couldn't submit it until later on in the year. So I remember it was one evening, my parents were sitting outside on the front porch just watching traffic go by. And I show them the email, and we're all just jumping up and down, hugging each other. It was great. That's a very fun memory of mine. I'd say wow, that is a great question. I could give a myriad of answers for that. I'd say one thing I'm excited for is reinventing myself. And I feel like a lot of that change will come, freshman year, carrying over into my sophomore year. Because I mean, it's new environment. Because U of A has already been a culture shock for me. I mean, I'm pretty sure campus itself is probably bigger than my hometown. So, I mean, another thing I'm excited for is just all the knowledge that's in front of me. I remember there was a quote somebody said about Thomas Jefferson saying how he was a lifelong student. And I'd like to think of myself in that same way because I love learning new things. It's gonna sound bad. A lot of times I try to be the smartest in the room. Well, let me not say smartest. I'd like to be the most knowledgeable in a room. Like, I want somebody to ask me a question, I can just tell them that. That was one thing in high school. Like, somebody would ask something just to like a crowd, not me specifically, and I'd be the first person to answer it, and they'd be like, "How in the world do you know that?" So that's just like that just always gave me a feeling of satisfaction. So those are definitely 2 things I'm excited about, aside from all the other stuff like, extracurricular activities and sporting events and all the community and engagement that's in front of me.